It's been the best thing that's happened here for the 5 years I've been in here.
It was also the feeling of freedom. The freedom.
The intention of Life Circles has been to capture positive changes that dance can bring to people who are living in care settings. We want to reflect on the most effective ways to explore and develop dance and movement-based activities that can have a transforming effect on a person, a group and a setting and a community. We want to show the powerful effects of dance and the importance of developing a creative voice, especially as people enter the final stage of their lives.
All the practitioners in dance that are in this team are people who are engaged in life and engaged in the creative arts and bring all sorts of things into their sessions. So supporting the creativity of the fragile elderly is the overall theme, and how we do that is many faceted.
We've come in with movement, but the project has also touched on lots of other art forms. It's also used a lot of different multi-sensory approaches, lots of different types of music, and it's about how we engage with people, how we use our particular philosophy of working, so working in a very person-centred way to engage with those people and create art. My dancing hands. There is a creative instinct in all of us, and sometimes that's been set to one side, and so what I try to do in Life Circles is to kind of create this space which is safe and supportive and recognises that creative instinct.
Well, the thing we all have all through our lives is a body, and this body moves, and this body shifts and changes, and it can express what we feel, what we think, and what we can imagine. So for me it's the tool, it's the starting point through which we can have a creative dialogue.
The body becomes very closed as it gets older, and the muscles start to deteriorate, and actually being able to feel the body again, being able to connect with the body, to be able to reconnect with your posture, with your breathing, and to be able to then move and dance with that, just opens up the body and also opens up the person and helps that person to express themselves.
It's about engaging one-to-one with people, acknowledging the equality between the participants and the artists, and acknowledging and valuing and respecting everyone in the circle as equally valid. Everyone has something important to bring and to share.
It's been the best thing that's happened here for the 5 years I've been in here.
It's about people. It's about people being able to express themselves to each other and to have a voice, which quite often isn't always heard in the way that they would like it to be heard. Through the Life Circles project, we have explored what are the ingredients that lead to effective community dance practice. We have explored different types of music, explored different movement dance activities, used different props and a variety of stimulus. And we've also explored how space, time and relationship are constantly employed within our sessions. Now, although these terms possess dance-specific meanings, space, time and relationship can also be interpreted in a more general sense. For example, how long a session might be or how we work in different spaces. But what is vital is how we manage these factors. How we employ time, space and relationship can both facilitate but can also inhibit how people engage.
My approach was to ask the activity coordinators in the settings how much time that they would normally do for an activity and what would be appropriate for them. And most of them said about an hour, no more. There was quite a strong sense, particularly at the beginning, oh, that would be far too long, they'd never be able to sustain the interest.
I would quite often be there for over 2 hours, and I would start in the hall and talking to people. Within that, there may have been maybe a shorter part of the 2 hours, may have been a group of people doing several different exercises, but for the kind of extended period, the one-to-one time, perhaps sitting in a hallway next to somebody and playing with our feet or singing a song.
We're just making a circle. I'm just getting the room ready for this morning's session. I'm putting out chairs, and then we've got a nice semicircle shape, so it's a bit of an inclusive dynamic really for the room.
It's about being seen and being able to see. And in a circle you can all see each other and you can all be seen by each other. That gives you the best and optimum opportunity to engage. So my first thing would be, well, what have you got on offer? What room have you got? Can I have a look at your rooms? Can I have a look at the sort of chairs you might have available?
In our sessions, we encourage people to use and engage as much of the body as they're comfortable to. So we've focused on the back of the body, so extending through the spine and helping people to feel that part of the body that is always attached to the back of the chair. This makes me reflect on how other parts of our bodies deteriorate as we age and our dependency on chairs as we grow older. The chairs that we are confined in can very easily prevent us from moving by being too soft or having arms, and it's made me think about whether this is a cultural phenomenon. Does it exist in the same way in other cultures, where the elders sit or squat on the floor at 80 or 90 years old?
Looking at organising the structure of the session into the circle as the safe and the comfortable way of working together has been, for some reason, for that particular setting, has been a real challenge. That quite often we have kind of a very spread out and disparate group.
People have their own chairs, you see, and I've noticed this quite strong thing, and they don't like to move.
It made me sort of reflect on how perhaps for that particular setting the more kind of one-to-one engagement was actually what was needed there, rather than having a kind of conventional circle. At the beginning of a session, I make an invitation with my body and my face and probably my voice, but I feel that there is an invitation to meet me in some way, some kind of the space between us is a kind of negotiable meeting point.
And you'll start to feel that through this practice we can communicate very deeply and effectively with people who often don't feel that their bodies are any good anymore.
And be honest.
Be honest.
Because there's something all the back of my mind keeps saying, but you can't walk, but you can't walk, you can't walk. But don't pretend you can, because you can't. Now, what can you do about that?
Well, we can look at what you can do rather than what you can't do. Actually, we can all dance. We can do dance with our hands. We can do dance with eyes. We can do dance with just opening up the chest a little bit. And there's this sense of engagement that comes through the body.
Everybody's body and everybody's needs are very different as they get older. If you're teaching a generic session, saying everyone has to do it like this or copy me, then that's not going to work. Whereas if you are feeding off the group and you're working with where that person is at, then a personalised approach makes that person feel valued, makes them feel they can do it, makes them feel that it's achievable, and so from there they grow. And as people arriving like you were arriving today, just to offer something that would be a discussion, a point of discussion. They're lovely, aren't they? Talking about an icebreaker for a warm-up, something that's going to help you to engage, to bring up a conversation. In the warm-up of a session, it's important to do activities that look at mobilising the joints. So working through the joints of the body, making nice wide circles. So to get the synovial fluid within the joints released and to look at how that can get the body moving again. Also to incorporate opening and closing movements which help with flexibility, and an activity that just gets the circulation moving a bit more, thinking about how the blood is moving around the body. And all these activities start to have an impact on the body and release endorphins into the system and help people to connect again with their bodies. But within the warm-up, it's also important to think about how you've warmed people up socially, so as a group, so how they're connecting with each other, and also creatively.
And what's been exciting with the sessions is to go in and see the bodies very still, and then 10 minutes into the warm-up, there's this energy that the body creates. And the energy engages the participation, and then it engages the creativity.
We really want to look at how the people connect. And so it's obviously about us connecting and engaging with those individual people. And to do that, we've used a range of props, music and props. So instead of doing something that's quite functional, it's about taking that movement, and if you're dancing with that movement, you're extending it and taking it that bit further.
I enjoy the company that we're with anyway, as well as what we're doing, but it's so nice to be with company.
Well, it's better than exercise because it's done to rhythm or laughter.
Engaging people emotionally and mentally with ideas and thoughts and music and stimulus. I want you to imagine that this balloon is something very precious. That's the way the engagement happens. It's got to be a dance between each other. Let it go. Let it go.
I followed the seasons into the wettest summer on record, with lots of water imagery, leading us from exploring the pattern of raindrops down a window pane to ideas about the sea.
Leads me, lures me, calls me to salt green tossing sea.
The project has very much been about bringing the outside in and mirroring what's been going on outside. So the seasons and the weather and the time of the year have very much informed what I might bring in. The
the people that are living in the environments that we've been working in have become so divorced from the natural world. It's really no wonder that the sense of time, of past and present, becomes kind of fragmented and confused, because you're not connected with the same shift of light and day or passage of the seasons. There was one day when I brought in, not very attractive, but a huge handful of seaweeds, a very powerful, strong smell of the sea, incredibly organic, very kind of visceral.
If you go out into the outdoors, it's very stimulating. There's lots going on. But when you select things to bring in, it becomes very, very focused. So the sensory side of that work becomes very prominent. It can have a very transporting effect for people.
I saw her when she was talking about what she was going to do, and I thought it sounded really interesting.
To start with, it's sort of shall I, shan't I, but as you get to know Sue and Angie, it's just like you're just part of each other, really, and just join in.
I think originally the first one was curiosity, and then after that, well, we've had a full house, haven't we?
Yes.
I didn't think it would work. The first week was completely different. Each week it has been completely different again, seeing them become more outward going.
I don't like this waving your arms around. As you may have noticed, I didn't do it.
If they want to participate, they can, and they can just sit and watch. But if they want to, they can also bring the exercise in. But it's a case of it's very free.
On one session we brought in great big bunches of lavender and wildflowers for everyone, and the smell of the outdoors and nature being so important in people's lives.
So we're going to give all of our lovely flowers to Dennis because it's his birthday.
That's been one of the great joys of the project, is just how much we can do that with music and sound and stimulus. And then again to have active over 50-year-olds who join dance groups, join in and be part of the delivery of life circles, to create more energy in a session, and to give the opportunity for performance, not just within the dancers themselves, but with the participants and the dancers. To have that engagement where they can dance with the participants on a one-to-one basis.
I highly tune my sort of receptors that I need to be able to read and broadcast with the people that are in the group. And the things that I take with me, props and resources, the music that I choose, are almost provocations that are just dropped into the room.
What do you think? Any other suggestions?
But they are almost secondary. It is more a case of actually being able to read the group of people that are in the space, activity coordinators, trainee and residents, and pick up on and draw out from those people where they are at that moment on that day.
We've got a bow as well.
I was not very confident about movement, and now I realise that it's not about what you can do, it's more about expressing yourself and joining in and being part of a group.
A lot of the energy and excitement is from bringing the new, the fresh, the in the moment, and just being there with the people as they are, listening to what they say in the moment. So I think you need to be able to improvise a little bit with what you bring.
Doing this has made me realise that it's actually important to allow that space for people in the group to have their own say and give feedback.
It's about playing with the ideas that you have. So if you have a lesson plan, I think it's always good to have a template of what you're going to go in with, but be very ready to shift and change within that and to go on a completely different route if that feels right.
Some weeks they're more frail than others or more tired. Some weeks they're definitely more engaging. You know, things can be going on emotionally.
It's not one size fits all at all for this kind of class, is it?
We're going to do our duets now. We actually set the room up in lines, so there were groups of 4 and 4 and 4 facing each other. So the whole session was based on relating to the person opposite you, and that was the theme of that session.
What I'm kind of always working towards is being able to have kind of skin-to-skin contact, because I do find that that makes a very deep connection between two people in this particular context. It almost seems to serve as a key, and for two people to be considering each other's hands, for example, is very levelling. But before that happens, you have to have arrived at a point where that is comfortable and safe.
There's a lot of functional touch that happens when we get to a very fragile point in our lives, and I think it is incredibly important to play with what touch can mean for people. Dance is able to negotiate those boundaries. It's able to divert and subvert areas that might be contentious.
Some clients don't mind touch, others don't like it. But since the sessions have been going, whereas before it'd be that kind of movement if you touch to start with, now everybody just embraces it. It's all invited, and like I say, from the start it was not sure about that, but now it's just like we're all one big family really. But a lot of them love to be loved, if you know what I mean. They love the touch, the feel safe, secure and loved by us, a feeling of wanted.
Life Circles has for me been very much about the hands, how we touch someone when we meet, how someone feels, the memory of that person in connection to touching their hands. Looking at people's hands and the touch of people's hands tells you a lot about who that person is. Over time, as people have connected, they've trusted me, they feel comfortable with the way that we're working, people have then been able to relax and let go more and allow their imaginations to take them somewhere else. And so we've done work about being transported or being taken somewhere else.
Out of my window, I can see.
We've used poetry a lot and shared poetry a lot. We've taken sometimes even the rhythm of the poem, not necessarily the actual words in a literal sense, the actual kind of cadence of the poem as it's being read by different members of the group, and just drawing out the movements that kind of come from hearing that poem read aloud. Each person drew or described in the air a window, and first of all talked about what that window might be like and how it might open and how it might feel and where it might be, and then each person looked out of that window onto a particular scene, and I verbatim caught the words from each different person as we danced our window.
I'm looking over fields.
And then pulled it together into a poem, which was then read by the residents to each other as we revisited this and danced.
The people in this project started to connect through their bodies to movement and music initially, but over the course of the project, we found that dancing with words and poems helped them to express themselves more fully, and this connection with language helped to develop their voice again. Makes you feel When the darker days came and the ice and snow, we explored the night sky and lights mirroring the qualities of our star signs in the intimacy of a curtained smaller space and working one-to-one in the rooms of those who were too frail to join us.
It was more than just an interaction with the residents. It was an opportunity for us to connect together. It's very calming, it's very relaxing. The fact that we're now reaching out to people that aren't able to attend the groups is a massive leap forward. This is where I think we should be going next, is sort of bringing those people in that can't come to us. There are ways of connecting with them, even if they can't speak to us, even if they don't have great sight.
You know, people are individuals, and not everybody likes being in a group, and certainly not everybody likes doing the same group activity at that particular time, you know, or is indeed able to. So one-to-one kind of is the way forward, I think.
We go through the warm-up and then into the themes and then into the wind-down, so that there is a structure within the session where there's time for each of those parts of the session. So there's a lovely sense of a circle in each session, a sort of gestalt, where we go through a process and then finish.
And just taking a nice deep breath in, breathing out again. Just relaxing at the end of a busy day. Shining lights out across, far into the distance, keeping the boat safe and the fishermen safe. Then there on the hill, lights start to come on in the cottages and the houses, showing someone's at home. Perhaps smoke's coming out of a chimney, drifting up into the night.
I was very clear that the Life Circles in its current form was coming to a close. And we did quite a lot of work on close. What does it mean to say goodbye? What does it mean to say goodbye? Who have you said goodbye to? And when things finish? And how does that feel? So there was quite a lot of awareness, even at the beginning, of everything has an end. And that's the whole circle thing again. The gestalt of the circle is everything ends. And there's something very beautiful about acknowledging that right from the beginning.
I would say that it's taken a good 10 sessions, 15 sessions, sort of a good third of the project to get to a point where I could see shifts and changes starting to really happen. Looking at sort of at the end of the project and being able to now step away, those changes have been very, very different for each setting and for those people. So we've looked at people's physical changes, their capacity to remember or to communicate better, what changes have happened for them socially or with their family, and obviously what the staff have decided to change or to take on.
People have said they feel more alive. People said they feel they've got something to look forward to. People have said they feel that someone's interested in them again.
It keeps it all moving on, you know.
It's opened us up and we can share experiences and share ideas, and for us, working within the activities department, it's got us to know the residents in a different way as well.
The time we've spent reflecting on what we do with the staff and with people that we've been working with has been absolutely essential to look at creative synergies, to look at ways of working that can be improved, how it might be that they might think about designing the space that they're working in, how that can change maybe the way they design the activities programme, how they can then embed those activities into other things they're doing within the settings that they're working in, how it might be that they think about the relationships of other staff that might not use touch in the way that we do, that might not understand that person-centred approach.
What I would hope to inspire and kind of engender in what we do is to provide and create a fertile ground where creative ideas can grow from.
It's for us now to be able to move away from that process, from the project, and look at how what we do invokes change.
We're much better at coming out and doing things with them. You know, we're letting ourselves go. Letting ourselves go, that's it.
People have really opened up a lot more and are engaging a lot more with the creative elements, because I think that's often quite challenging for people, and I struggled with the creative elements to start with because I felt a little quite shy, and now I feel really confident with it because I can see how effective it is.
The music's good, and then we have to interpret the music as we feel.
Oh, I enjoy it. I keep coming back.
It's the animation amongst the staff and the residents that we've noticed is much, much better.
It's just lovely to see how they've grown in confidence through dance and expressing themselves.
Participated in the sessions, and you're so transported. Your imagination goes and the time goes.
And everybody brings their own thoughts and ideas to life circles. So although we have one piece of music, that can evoke all sorts of memories and experiences from life for many people. And that's where the creativity comes in.
Obviously, if you're taking people's ideas creatively, then you're valuing that person for what they have to bring to the session. And if you're valuing what they bring, then it puts everybody on a level field where you can trust that person, you feel you want to come to the session, you feel you want to engage more.
It's made me appreciate that as we become very elderly, that creative voice becomes much quieter, and that voice can become almost silent sometimes. And I've seen with life circles that when there are creative triggers through provocations that we've dropped into sessions, through movement, through the power of touch, that creative voice starts to come back, that we all have. We're all on the same journey.
It was also the feeling of freedom. The freedom.